In the red earth of Abba, Nigeria, three sisters stood around a shallow grave. Two held shovels. One lay silent in the dirt, but high above, in the palm trees, someone was watching everything. Ada was 25 years old and beautiful in a quiet way. She had her late mother's kind eyes and gentle smile. Every morning, she woke up early to sweep the compound and prepare breakfast for her father, Chief Okafor, and her two stepsisters, Ngozi and Amara. Chief Okafor was a respected man in Abba. He sold spare parts at the main market. After Ada's mother died 5 years ago, he married again, but his second wife also passed away 2 years later, leaving behind Ngozi and Amara. Despite everything, Chief Okafor loved all three girls, but everyone knew Ada had a special place in his heart. The trouble started when Peter Okeke came to town. Peter was a wealthy businessman from Lagos who came to Abba to open a new branch of his electronics company. He was 32, tall, well-dressed, and respectful. When he met Ada at the market one Saturday morning, he was immediately drawn to her kindness. She was helping an old woman carry her goods, asking for nothing in return. "Excuse me," Peter said, approaching Ada. "I'm new in Abba. Can you direct me to Chief Okafor's shop? I heard he's the best for spare parts." Ada smiled. "That's my father's shop. I can take you there." From that day, Peter found reasons to visit the shop. He would buy things he didn't need just to talk with Ada. He asked about her life, her dreams, her favorite foods. Ada was shy at first, but slowly she opened up to him. Chief Okafor noticed Peter's interest and approved. "He's a good man," he told Ada one evening, "respectful and hardworking." But Ngozi and Amara were watching with burning jealousy. "Why does Peter win Ada?" Ngozi hissed to her sister one night in their room. She was 27, the oldest, with a sharp tongue and ambitious eyes. "I'm older, I'm more beautiful." Amara, who was 26, nodded bitterly. "And I'm more educated. I finished secondary school. What does Ada have that we don't?" "Our father's favor," Ngozi said darkly. "That's what she has. Peter sees how Chief Okafor treat her like a queen, and he thinks she must be special." The sisters began to plot.
3 months later, Peter came to Chief Okafor's house with a formal proposal. He brought kola nuts, palm wine, and his family members. He wanted to marry Ada. Chief Okafor was overjoyed. Ada was nervous, but happy. She had grown to care for Peter deeply. The traditional introduction was set for 1 month later. But Ngozi and Amara couldn't bear it. The thought of watching Ada marry a rich man while they remained single drove them mad with envy. "We have to stop this wedding," Ngozi said one night. "How?" Amara asked. "Father has already agreed. Peter's family has paid the first bride price." Ngozi's eyes went cold. "Then Ada has to disappear," Amara gasped. "You mean?" "I mean she needs to vanish," Ngozi interrupted. "If she's gone, Peter will eventually forget her. Maybe he'll notice one of us instead." "But how will we make her disappear?" Ngozi leaned closer. "There's an old well behind the abandoned school in Umuocham village. No one goes there anymore. We'll take her there and make sure she never comes back." Amara was scared, but her jealousy was stronger than her conscience. "When?" "Tomorrow. Father is traveling to Onitsha for business. He'll be gone for 2 days." His name was Chidi, and everyone in the village called him Chidi the Tapper. He was a 40-year-old man who climbed palm trees every morning to collect palm wine. He was poor, lived alone in a small house near the forest, and had no family, but he had honest eyes and a good heart. That morning, Chidi climbed the tallest palm tree near the abandoned school. The tree gave the sweetest wine, though it was far from other houses. As he tied his collection pot and settled on the tree branch to wait, he heard voices below. He looked down and saw 3 young women. He recognized them, Chief Okafor's daughters, but something was wrong. 2 of them were dragging the third, who seemed weak and stumbling. Chidi stayed very still and watched. "Please," Ada begged weakly. "Why are you doing this? I'm your sister." "You're not our real sister," Ngozi spat. "You're just the daughter of our father's first wife. You've always been his favorite." "I never asked her that," Ada cried. "Please let me go." "Too late," Amara said, her voice shaking. "Peter should have been mine Ngozi's, not yours. Chidi's heart began to pound. What were they planning? The sisters dragged Ada to the old well. It was covered with wooden planks and bush. They pulled the planks aside, revealing the dark, dry opening below. It was about 15 feet deep, deep enough to trap someone, but not deep enough to kill them instantly. "No, please," Ada screamed. "Please don't do this." But Ngozi and Amara pushed her. Chidi watched in horror as Ada fell into the darkness with a terrible thought. He heard her crying and groaning in pain below. The sisters quickly began throwing sand and dirt into the well, trying to bury her alive. "Stop crying, or we'll bury you faster," Ngozi shouted down. Ada's cries became muffled as the dirt covered her. Chidi wanted to shout, but his voice caught in his throat. There were two of them and one of him. What if they attacked him too? But he couldn't just let a young woman die. The sisters finally finished covering the well with dirt and planks, disguising it with bush and branches. They stood back, breathing hard. "She's gone," Amara whispered. "What do we tell father?" "That she went to visit Auntie Nkem in the next village," Ngozi said firmly, "and she never came back. We'll say we don't know what happened to her." They walked away quickly, looking around nervously to make sure no one saw them. As soon as they disappeared down the path, Chidi scrambled down the palm tree as fast as he could. His hands were shaking. He ran to the well and began pulling away the branches and planks. "Hello," he called down. "Can you hear me?" A weak voice came from below. "Help, please help me." "I'm coming," Chidi promised. "Hold on." He looked around frantically. He needed rope. He needed help. But if he left to get help, Ada might suffocate under the sand. He had to act now. Chidi ran back to the palm tree and untied the strong rope he used for gaming. He tied one end around the tree trunk and threw the other end down the well. "Can you grab the rope?" he shouted. I'll try," Ada's weak voice came back. It took almost 20 minutes. Ada was hurt and covered in sand, but slowly, painfully, she climbed up with Chidi pulling from above. When she finally reached the top, she collapsed on the ground, coughing and crying. Chidi quickly gave her water from his collection pot. "Don't worry," he said gently. "You're safe now." Ada looked up at him with terrified eyes. "They tried to kill me," she whispered. "My own sisters." "I know," Chidi said. "I saw everything, but you can't go home. If they find out you're alive, they might try again." "Where will I go?" Ada asked desperately. Chidi hesitated, then made a decision. "Come to my house."
When Chief Okafor returned from Onitsha that evening, Ngozi and Amara told him their rehearsed story. Ada said she was going to visit Auntie Nkem in Umweze, Ngozi said with fake concern. She left yesterday morning, but Auntie Nkem just called and she said Ada never arrived. Chief Okafor's face went pale. "What? Where is she then?" "We don't know, Papa," Amara said, squeezing out tears. "We're so worried." Chief Okafor immediately contacted the police and organized search parties. Friends, neighbors, and community members combed through Abba and the surrounding villages, calling Ada's name. Days turned into weeks. Peter Okeke joined the search, his face drawn with worry. "Where could she be?" he asked Chief Okafor desperately. "Could she have been kidnapped?" "I don't know," Chief Okafor said, his voice breaking. "I've lost my wife. I can't lose my daughter too." The wedding plans were cancelled. Chief Okafor barely ate or slept. He became a shadow of himself, walking through the market like a ghost, asking everyone if they'd seen Ada. Meanwhile, Ngozi and Amara pretended to grieve, but secretly they were relieved. Peter, heartbroken, stayed in Abba, hoping for news. Ngozi began bringing him food and trying to comfort him. "I know how much you loved Ada," she would say. "We all miss her, but life must go on." Peter was polite but distant. Something felt wrong, though he couldn't explain what. In Chidi's small house, Ada slowly recovered from her injuries. She had a sprained ankle, bruises all over her body, and nightmares every night. But Chidi took care of her with the kindness of an older brother. "Why are you helping me?" asked him one evening as he brought her dinner, boiled yam and palm oil. "Because it's the right thing to do," Chidi said simply. "I may be a poor palm wine tapper, but I know right from wrong. What your stepsisters did was evil." "I want to go home," Ida said, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I miss my father. He must be so worried." "I know," Chidi said gently, "but we need a plan. If you go back now, they might try to kill you again. This time they might succeed." "Then what should I do?" "We need proof of what they did," Chidi said. Chidi had an idea. He knew a young boy in the village named Emeka who was clever and brave. He asked Emeka to help them. "I need you to go to Chief Okafor's house," Chidi told the boy. "Pretend you are selling snacks. Listen to what Ngozi and Amara say to each other. See if you can record them talking." Emeka agreed.
Chidi gave him a small phone with a recording app. 2 days later, Emeka went to Chief Okafor's compound, selling biscuits and sweets. Ngozi and Amara were sitting outside, thinking they were alone. "Do you think Ada's body will ever be found?" Amara asked nervously, her voice low. "No," Mozi said confidently. "That well is too hidden, and even if someone finds it, they'll think she just fell in by accident." "I feel guilty sometimes," Amara admitted. "Don't," Ngozi snapped. "She had everything. Papa's love, Peter's love. We deserve happiness too." Emeka's hand trembled as he held the phone behind the small table of snacks. He got it all. He brought the recording to Chidi, who listened with Ada beside him. Ada wept as she heard her stepsister's cold words. "Now we have proof," Chidi said firmly. "Now we go to the police." The next morning, Chidi, Ada and Emeka went to the police station. Ada wore a scarf over her head to avoid being recognized on the street. The police officer on duty was shocked when Ada revealed herself. "Chief Okafor's daughter? You're alive?" "Yes, sir," Ada said quietly, "and I have proof of who tried to kill me." They played the recording. The officer's face hardened with anger. "This is attempted murder," he said. "We'll arrest them immediately." That afternoon, police officers arrived at Chief Okafor's house. Ngozi and Amara were taken away in handcuffs, screaming and protesting their innocence. Chief Okafor stood in shock, unable to believe what was happening. "Papa, we didn't do anything," Ngozi cried. But when the police played the recording, Chief Okafor collapsed into a chair, his face in his hands. Then Ada appeared at the doorway. "Ada!" Chief Okafor leaped up and ran to her, embracing her tightly. My daughter, you're alive!" They both wept together.
Inside life, Ngozi and Amara were tried in court. With the recording and Chidi's eyewitness testimony, they were found guilty of attempted murder. They were sentenced 15 years in prison. Chief Okafor was heartbroken that his stepdaughters could do such evil, but he was grateful beyond words that Ada was alive. Peter Okeke rushed to see Ada as soon as he heard the news. "I never stopped looking for you," he said, taking her hands. "I never stopped praying." "I know," Ada said softly, "and I never stopped hoping." 3 months later, Ada and Peter had their traditional wedding. It was a joyful celebration, and Ada wore her mother's coral beads. Chief Okafor smiled for the first time in weeks, dancing proudly with his daughter. At the wedding, Ada made sure to honor one special guest, Chidi the palm wine tapper. She gave him a brand new tapping equipment and money to start a small business. "You saved my life," Ada said, hugging him. "I'll never forget that." Chidi smiled humbly. "I just did what was right." As Ada and Peter drove away to start their new life together, Ada looked back at her father's house one last time. She thought about her stepsisters in prison, and though she felt sadness for them, she also felt relief. Evil had tried to bury her alive, but kindness had pulled her back into the light. And in the end, love had won. The end. Thanks for watching. Come back for more videos.